Thank you for accepting my offer. I appreciate it. And of course, we're going to be working together. So, can you tell us about the common misconceptions or common mistakes that people make with security?
You don't want to include personal information like a family name or your kid's
Mm,
name or a birth date or anything like that.
mhm,
Um, in addition to that, another misconception that I see is, just people falling for things that they see online that turn out to be scams or phishing attempts. Those are things you want to watch out for, particularly if it's coming from a source that you don't know, or something that's unsolicited. Something that looks like it's coming from a bank, for example, and they're asking you for your login information.
I want to actually just elaborate on, if you can elaborate on that now. I know banks, from what I understand, will never email you anything to say, "Hey, your account's been compromised," or "Give us your password," or that type of thing. Um, did you find that a lot of people in general, not just business owners, but new, just regular citizens, fall for these kind of things? And is there any way to recover from that?
It is something that happens. It does occur, and usually it happens when you are distracted. This part of the year becomes a little bit more of a time period where you want to be more watchful and more mindful. These pop-ups that can come up on your screen. Usually, if you've got your browser configured, it can block these kinds of things that are from popping up within your
Mm,
browser,
mhm.
because usually they are part of like some sort of a phishing or scam attempt. Um, so definitely you want to avoid the link. In the case of like something like Microsoft or whatever your service provider is, you have an
There's not,
account set up. And so
yeah,
they're not really actually going to be reaching out to you and asking you for account information. It's already in their systems and on their servers. So that's usually a red flag right off the bat. You know,
right.
but you can take steps within your browser settings to suppress pop-ups from showing up on your screen, which will
Yeah.
minimize your exposure to these kinds of malicious links. But if you do see something that's a little bit suspicious like that, and they're asking you for tons of details, certainly for large amounts of money, and it's something where it's high urgency, and they're trying to push you into this high pressure situation where you have to
Mhm.
do it, or you're going to be exposed.
Right.
Um, it's definitely something that you want to ignore and close out of, and even report, especially if you have like a legitimate account. And this mirrors that because most likely there is something that's triggering that. So if
Yeah.
you are exposed to that, you want to make sure that you've got your pop-up blockers configured in your browser. You also want to make sure that you've got some sort of antivirus protection on your device. You also want to make sure that if you see some instance like that, that you close out of that session and run like a virus scan, because there could be something that's locally installed on your computer that's actually, again, triggering that uh,
Exactly.
in the form of like something like a malware or which is a malicious program or something that maybe is an attachment, something that came to you through like some email or something like that, which is again underscores the importance of having like something like antivirus protection installed on your machine.
So I like the fact how you mentioned antivirus software or malware software that's protecting your computer. But I've heard that also if you have more than one, maybe two or three of those programs running at the same time on your computer, they're gonna give you some false, what they call false negatives. They're going to be reporting on each other. So, do you have any opinion on that? Maybe even some free software you recommend people can be running on their computer, or do you agree with what I said in terms of having more than two or three running at the same time?
Well, if you are getting some notifications, you want to make sure that you're taking a moment to look at the details of the alert that you're getting. Because there, like you said, there could be an instance where it's a false negative in it, and it's a low level alert that maybe is something that you don't need to take action on, or something that is something that's being cross referenced by both tools if you've got both things running in terms of antivirus. You also want to make sure that if you in the case of YouTube, if you lose access to your account, that you've got like something like a account recovery plan in place, you know, so that you can
Mm.
regain access to account if it's been compromised, if you have received like an alert of a virus. And this is like, I guess you could say this is a way of like a um, recovery plan if you have been exposed to like some sort of a problem like that. Account
How,
recovery is ideal, and this would mean like, you know, configuring your phone number and or like a an alternate email address, so that if you
uh,
do lose access to your YouTube account, that you can actually get
mm,
into it again once you verified through those channels.
mhm.
So an account recovery plan is definitely something you want to have in place beforehand. In the event of seeing these false flags, yeah, look at the details, get a close look at what the alert is, because it may be something that is not necessary, that is a non-actionable thing that you can just kind of ignore, but just take note of. The things you want to pay closer attention to are those things that, you know, definitely have like a red flag, high level risk, or like that has a higher, I don't want to say like a higher escalation, but definitely a higher threat level. If you see something that is a high priority level one threat in your virus, those are the things in your virus detector. Those are the things you want to take immediate action on, take immediate action on, and try to mitigate through something like a virus scan, or if you do suspect that you've fallen prey to some breach, you know, you want to make sure that you're changing your passwords immediately. Of course,
Mm.
trying to like, you know, roll back your OS or your softwares to like a default state to try and remove something that may have been installed locally. Basically, a rollback of your system, provided you have everything backed up, is what you'll have to do. You know, sort of like, you know, getting another device. Certainly, if you've got some backups in place, you could roll back to a previous instance of, if you're back up to a point that is earlier than,
That point of
what am I trying
where
to
you
say?
last
You know what I'm
where
trying
you
to
last
say?
left off. I know what you mean. Where
Yeah,
you last left off. So you said a reset point, and you say if anything happens, I want to. You set a reset point and say if anything happens, I want to reset back to this point right here.
good point. Yeah,
Is that right?
roll back to a prior restore point, I guess, is
Right. Exactly.
what I'm
Yeah. That
searching
a
for.
point. Right. Exactly. Before everything went
Kablooey.
sideways. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Chaz, I want to thank you very much for being with us today. And where can people reach out to you online? Do you have a school community, YouTube channel? What is it called?
If you search Megablox Guild, Guild, um, then there should be like some searchable items that come up. So Megablox, Megablox, Guild, Guild.